We live.
Welcome to another episode of Soul Filling, where you get your soul fed. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kobe.
And today we are talking about creating a joyful life that you love. When you wake up every morning, you just want to get after it and soak up all the beautifulness that the world has to offer. So, since we want our soulmates to live joyfully, we're going to share the tips that we have to live joyfully. But before we get into that, we got to get into our what is the thing called? We have to get into our what fed our souls this week. Yes, segment. Okay, girls, which one of you guys want to go first? If you have a little life lesson to lay on our soulmates. Oh, yeah, y'all both on mute. Oh, y'all just saying okay. Let me think of one. I feel like I had so many on accident. Let me see.
Right. Okay, as the week was going through, I was over here telling myself, "Oh, this is what I'm gonna say on what got me this week," and then I'm like, "What was I gonna say again?"
I'll just do one that I just did on Instagram. This is gonna be. I feel like I could make an analogy, a life lesson out of anything. I promise you guys. Okay, so y'all know on my Instagram, one of my goals for 2021 is to post on Instagram consistently every single day, right? Because me being the perfectionist I am, or I don't even know if I'm a perfectionist, but that's besides the point. Me being the person I am, I just want everything to look perfect, and I just want to have a good lesson tied to it. But since I've been posting every single day, sometimes I'm just like, look, I just gotta use what I got. So but it has forced me to be creative, but with my post. So yesterday I basically posted a random smoothie post that I just had throughout the day, and I couldn't remember the recipe because they're just in my phone, so I don't know what it was, but I know how my smoothies are usually made. So it's usually 2 frozen fruits, fresh berries, a half a ripe banana, coconut water, or unsweetened almond milk. Guys, that's the best way to make a smoothie. Like, it just depending on your taste buds, because of the consistency. No ice, no water. That coconut water or almond milk have you right. But that's besides the point. The lesson in that is I wrote that most of the time I don't have those things because I run out of frozen fruits, cherries. Like, I'm usually left with like the basic of ingredients, right? But does that stop me from making a smoothie? Heck no, because a girl is hungry, and usually whether it's a 3-fruit smoothie or a vegetable and 2 fruits smoothie, it comes out better than I expected, right? So with that, what I'm saying is, like, you don't need to use all the ingredients that you need in life, that you think you need in life. And I just coordinated that with, you don't need all the money that you think you need. You don't need all the equipment that you think you need. You don't need all of the connections that you think you need. If you just use what you have in your refrigerator of your soul, of what you have right now, you don't you may just come up with something amazing. More times than not, it's gonna be amazing anyways. And you could always go to the grocery store later. Now I went to Trader Joe's yesterday, stocked up again. But don't wait to have everything there to make your smoothie of life.
So that's good. That's real good.
Right. Thank you for sharing. I loved it. I love it.
Thanks. Did that spark anything for you guys? Or we could go right into our topic if y'all don't have a soulful gem for the week.
I've been thinking, Kobe, you got anything?
No.
No, I don't. But before we go into the topic, I do want to remind our soulmates to go ahead and like, share, comment Subscribe to us. Go ahead and hit that bell notification. Go write a review. If you're hearing anything that's feeding your soul right now, go ahead and hit those subscribes and likes, y'all.
That's a lesson within itself, to be honest. Okay. Support the people that support you.
Yes.
Nah, for real. We love when you guys share I specifically, what I love a lot is when y'all share on Instagram, because it just helps other people get to know Soul Filling Podcast. When y'all share our quotes, when y'all share our episodes, that brings so much joy to my heart. But
it really does.
It really does.
And reading those comments, those comments, they really have my soul so fed. Like, y'all are amazing. I really just want to let y'all know. And even if you don't write a long, drawn out comment, give us an emoji, give us a heart, give us a star, give us a something, because just a simple little comment will help the world, push us up in the rankings, and help us get the message out to the world. Because we just want to help y'all.
Yes, give us
as we help ourselves. Because this is therapy for real.
Yes. All right. Well, that's one of the things that bring us joy is hearing your comments, seeing your comments, and seeing the reviews, those 5-star reviews that y'all leave on Apple Podcasts. But I really wanted to get into, guys, do y'all have any tips on how to create a joyful life for yourself? Or do you even feel like your life is joyful? First off.
Yes. I kind of want to take it back to one of our previous episodes when we talked about protecting yourself, and just go over some things that I might have missed in that episode, because this can help you create a joyful life for yourself. Sometimes, we put up those guards. People have hurt us. People have done things to us, misled us, whatever. And now we put up these guards, and now it's caused a disconnect. So now, as humans, we long for that connection, but because of, things that we've gone through, we've created this disconnect between the people. So I know it's scary, but in order to bring back that joy and create that joy in your life, it's really just vulnerability. You just have to make yourself a little bit more vulnerable. Yes, people might hurt you, but you gain so much more than you lose by, blocking yourself from the world.
I love that so much. That's something I'm learning to deal with. Like I was talking about in our last episode when we were doing What Fed Our Soul this week, about like, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, that's like insanity. But because guys, if you listen to the podcast, something that when it comes to like dating and relationships, for me, I'm just so, I was so scared of letting people in because I didn't want to get hurt. And one of the biggest things was I didn't want to hurt other people because, when we're dating, there's only gonna be, hopefully for me, there's only gonna be one person who is the person who's gonna, essentially be my husband one day. But in order to get to that person, gotta date other people too to know. But I hate feeling like, oh my gosh, like what if this doesn't work, which blocks me from even moving forward. But like I said in the other podcast, instead, if I'm gonna continue doing that, I'm never gonna be able to let love in, to just see and try. So I'm being very intentional right now when dating to be like, okay, all right, well, I'll let feelings be there. I'll show you I'm interested. Okay, fine. So I love that, and it does bring joy to my life.
And I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes we can make ourselves busy to not interact with people. We can keep things, like I know at work, I used to keep things on a superficial level because, I was just like, I don't want to be, no new friends, just having that mentality. But, it caused me to miss out on a lot of things. What else did I write down? Not sharing your wants and needs. So then like in a relationship with your significant other, because you feel like you can't share your wants or needs. Now you feel like the relationship is one-sided because you're just giving, but then the other person doesn't know what you want or need because you're not expressing it.
No, that's good, Kobe. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. And I want to go back to when you was talking about how even just as simple as opening up and being vulnerable with the people that are around you, whether that is at work. And I'm gonna just speak on, I want to stay on that workspace for a minute. And I think, it depends on what you do. And I'm not going to tell everybody to just, go to the workplace and just spill everything all out. But I truly feel that, while you are in the workplace, this year has been one of the years I think I've opened up the most to some of my coworkers and just like really gotten close. And it's just like, it has been a really, really rewarding thing. And I think everything just happens strategically for that sake. And I even want to say, because it's not even just, most times I find myself gravitate to my comfort zone, the other Black coworkers, if I'm gonna just be real. But I think God strategically placed me where I'm working very, very close with a white lady and a white man that's our next door classmate and another. So it's like, and I'm building some of the best relationships, like especially like me and my white coworker, we always joke, and I'll be like, I'll tell her things that goes on in Black culture, and she tells me things that goes on in white, and it's like we're completely transparent about it. Like we're not like trying to hide the microaggressions, like the fact that I'm Black, you're white. We like literally go in, like, I'll be like, yeah, in the Black world, we don't know nothing about or in this, we never, and then she's like, yeah, I guess I wouldn't know that. And then she's like, your dad's like the Black version of my dad. And it's just like, we get it really, really, and it's like, society has taught us to focus so much on our differences, but we are really, really so much more similar than what we even express to show, because we're taught not to be vulnerable or what. And I'm just like unapologetically, like, I'm like, you like me, you don't like me, I'm just like, I'm gonna stop, like you said, creating that superficial shell, and like just really being my authentic self and all my Blackness, and I love her with all her whiteness, and it's just like we have that connection and we can really truly understand each other. And I understand. And even with my mentor, it's just crazy. Like my mentor that I'm working with, he's a white man. And never would I ever thought that I'd be, working as closely. And like, I love, and this is the type of white people I like, because they're not trying to hide the fact that he's like, I'm a white middle-aged man. I don't know the Black struggle, but I want you to educate me about what's going on in the Black world, because I only know what I've been exposed to. And I like the fact that he's open, or they're open to know, instead of like, going with the media and saying like everything the media say is true and not even trying to hear us out. So I just think it's beautiful to have vulnerable, because it shows, for one, that, all white people don't have the same narrative and agenda, no matter what the media do tell you. And you can really learn a lot about just so many ways of life, healthier ways of life that we wasn't necessarily exposed to just in the Black community. Maybe our parents wasn't necessarily exposed to, financial tips that, things that, we wasn't exposed to as a culture. And then the fact that you have people that are so open and willing to share. And I can even teach them about things that, how to preserve and save and be very diligent in ways that they wasn't even exposed to. So I just think that vulnerable space, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in your relationship, is really important. Not caring what someone else's background is, because I think we're here to educate people on who we are, if they're willing to learn. Now, I'm not saying go force yourself into groups, but if people is authentically willing to be educated, then I feel like that vulnerable place can create a very, very joyful life. And I've seen myself grow in ways I've never, ever, ever thought that I would, especially being pro-Blackness as I am. And I still will always be that. And I'm not hiding that, but I'm just like, I can still be loving my culture and still be culturally diverse and educated and understand what else that there is that's out there.
Yeah, I think it's just important to lead with love, essentially, when it comes to everybody in this in this world. You know, because of the color of our skin should not have us putting up walls, you know. I feel like that's like kind of it closes something within you. Like it's not allowing you to love fully. And so I totally agree with that. And that's something I've definitely, I wouldn't say definitely struggled with, but definitely like had in the back of my mind, you know. It was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
No, real.
But you know, now that I do work in a space where it's mostly white people, because you guys know that I usually, like for the past 3 to 4 years, all black on black co-workers, black owned business I was working for, black market on the weekends, and so everything was black. But like he said, it's nice to have people around who do care about, you know, black issues, even when it doesn't really affect them. And that's what the company I work for does. So yeah, but it is an internal struggle sometimes, because you have those biases in the back of your mind, but you have to work to really to break those down and see people for people instead of what they look like. And, you know,
Right.
we wish that everybody would do that for us as Black people, but, you know, we just have to be the example. And I do think it makes for a more joyful life, because that, like, having that animosity, there's no way to have a really joyful, open life if you're harboring animosity every time you see someone.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. And then even thinking about your current company that you work for, whether they were white, Asian, Hispanic, think about how much they've grown your mindset in ways that you wasn't exposed to when you wasn't introduced to this company. So it's just like, I think every stage of our life, we find ourselves right where we need to be at the right time, and exposed to the people that we need to be exposed to at the right time, if we allow our frequency to I don't know, to be at that level. I don't want to get too deep, but I think based on just where you are, where you're trying to go, you along your journey, it may not just be all Black people that you work with. It may not just be, all white people. It may not be all Hispanics, Indians, I don't know, Middle Easterns. You can find yourself getting some of the best knowledge you ever sought to ever get coming from someone from Ukraine, and you never thought you would meet them. Or you may, go to Australia and you never thought they would change your life. Or you might end up working for a company and, somehow they bring the cultural melting pot. But I mean, still be unapologetically and appreciate your culture, understand your identity, be fully, because I think that's what makes us love the other cultures, people from other cultures so much, because you're so secure and you're so understanding of who you are. You can now bring that to the table and educate and really, shine light and show, the representation of who we truly are, not who the media says that we are.
For sure. And I think another aspect of joy, something that you hit on as well, is you were talking about you find yourself exactly where you're supposed to be. And I know that in life it's easy to feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, because whether you're looking at what other people are doing, thinking you're supposed to be further along than you are. All these different things, like so if y'all follow Soul Filling Podcast, you know that I quit my job to essentially just be an entrepreneur and have my own business. Like, hey, like I could do this. So I took that leap, and then not knowing that my part-time job to help me be stable would turn into a full-time job with the job I'm currently at. And now that I look back at it, and I literally had to make them wait a little bit on my decision, because I was like, I had this plan in mind that I'm going to be an entrepreneur what did y'all like? What do you mean? And so, but then I just take a step back. I'm like, I'll go ahead and take this bag. Like, okay, I'll take this bag. But now even looking back even further and actually being immersed in the company that I work for, it's exactly where I'm supposed to be. And exactly everything that I learn every single day, all the training that I'm having is just, I'm baffled sometimes because I've learned so much. Like, I feel like an expert, okay, in like in social media marketing. Like, if I don't know it now, I know I'm gonna learn it soon. And so all I'm saying is a key to a joyful life is knowing that God is ordering your steps, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it's like, God, I didn't want to go this route. I didn't want to do this. He's like, okay, I know there's this verse and I don't know. I'm just gonna say it the way I reckoned it in my mind when I saw it on Instagram. But they were saying it's like God gives you the dream and you decide whether you're going to do it or not. But he's the one who leads the direction to how you get there. Like, he's the one who orders your steps. Like, yeah, he gave me this idea, but he's the one who leads the way. Like, we can't pick how we're going to fall in love. We don't pick how we're going to get to this career. Like, we can try our best to navigate a way, and I think that's good to have a plan and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, the way God wants you to go is the way you really, really want to go. So whether you're not there yet, just know that God is leading the way, and to be able to leave that pressure off of yourself and put the burdens on God, I feel like that is a great reminder to get me back to joy when I'm feeling like I have no clue what I'm doing, or I don't know why I'm not here or there yet. So just always leaning back on God and having the faith, knowing that he's leading the way.
He is leading the way. He is so leading the way. And I think that's one of my, well, it's not, it kind of goes hand in hand in one point that I was wanting to say, such as our outlook on life. What is your outlook? I mean, although, yes, we have all these plans, but if our outlook always is centered in God and knowing that, rooted in God, and knowing that he's always going to make sure we're on the right path, even when we don't know what the heck is going on at the current moment. We always have something to fall back on. Like when we're on those extremely stressful days, on them extremely like overwhelming, and you just feel like, or it could be weeks sometimes, even months sometimes, if you really fall back on your not even, it's not, I don't even see it as falling back. It's like you falling forward, or you standing 10 toes down in your foundation. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I know God got me. I know he gonna pull the pieces together like he always have. He's gonna put me somewhere where I didn't even know I needed to be. He's gonna pull out the greatness out of this situation like he always does and has always done. Like, even if it was a crappy or a bad breakup, or a bad job loss, or you just got involved in a bad situation all around, somehow it always seems it ends up working for our good. It's like that outlook, that overall, I don't even want to call it hindsight, because you're looking forward. Like, what do you see? What is like in your horizon is like knowing that God got you, like, and he continues to always have you, and he got you this far, and he's going to continue to get you even further. It's really been grounding me. And I just know, like, 2021, I don't know what's been going on, but I feel like this new sense of like purpose, this new sense of I don't know, like, I just know, like, I knew Soul Feeling was gonna be something then, but I don't know. It's like whenever, it's like everything that every other year up until this point has just been like putting it together. But like this year, I'm like, okay, this is really attainable and it's really about to happen. And it's just like, I just feel like I can just walk different now, because it's just like we can truly do any and everything we want to do, y'all. It's like that outlook. What do you see? And if you have a positive outlook, anybody that has achieved greatness, Oprah, Kobe, Jordan, doctors, like Obama, like anybody, like you have to have that overall positive outlook. Like, I understand the world will tell you to be realistic and to look around and see the facts, the data, but sometimes there's just things that's unexplainable. And I think it comes from that positive outlook and knowing that, hey, something real about to happen here. And I know you don't see it, or she don't see it, or they don't see it, but just that knowing that and being so secure in it.
Positivity is literally everything. I really feel like that's why I'm so happy most of the time, because I could see the good in so much. You know, I know one of my friends was like, I used to be mad at you because you always looking at the brighter things. Like, someone could talk about someone, I'm going to surely say something positive or try to think of them as maybe they did this because of this. Or I'm just always trying to look at the positive outlook, because
girl, can I just piggyback real quick? Girl, because why Jarvis be getting mad at me too? He calls it, I'm giving everybody the benefit of the doubt. He's like, why can't you just let us be mad at them right now? Why you always got to think, well, maybe they're over here, they were probably thinking this, and their upbringings didn't allow them to know that. And he's like, nah, they don't get no excuses. I'm like, nah. So I get you.
I'm saying here, my mom was like, you're no fun to talk about people with. I'm like, I'm sorry. Look, I ain't the one you got to do that with someone else. Like, it could be little bitty things. Comment about anybody in a supermarket. I'm like, no, I just can't. I can't. I'm not built that way, luckily. But, which is no shade to no one. I mean, there's all, you know, fun and games and stuff like that. But I'm not the one. But I think it's very important to have a positive outlook, because the world can sometimes be a bit scary, you know. But to have positivity on the forefront, I feel like is a source of protection. You know, you don't want to be naive or anything like that. But if you are putting out a frequency of joy, of perfection, like of things, everything is going to be okay, then more than likely, everything is going to be okay. And so having a positive mindset, looking at the brighter things, like look at the glass totally full, whether it has air in it or have water in it or wine in it, you know, whatever it is, just look at the alternative other side before you go, especially before you go into that negative space. Or if you are in that negative space, quickly, like we always talk about, change it to be something positive. You know, one of the things that this was going to be one of the soul filling gems that I had as well, because I think yesterday or 2 days ago, me and Deborah, we went for a walk, and she was really, really stressed about this trip that we were planning. Well, that she was planning. I wasn't planning nothing. I'm like, here, just take my money. But she's planning for her birthday, and she was like, man, I just want to buy. We waited too long. The tickets were this, and she's like, I'm just really stressed. I just want to get this over with. And I was a little fed up. I was like, Deborah, this is not something you should be stressed about. Like, this is a trip. Like, this is fun. She's like, I just want to get this. We haven't got the hotel yet. And then I was like, Deb, okay. I was like, so what's the problem? She was like, I just want to get it booked already. I said, okay, well, let's just book it then. And then she looked at it and she was like, oh my God, the price dropped more than it was before. I'm like, look at that, cool. And so we got it. So that eased her up, right? Because I just knew, I was like, those prices, I'm not worried about those prices. You know, the price is gonna go down. And so, but then yesterday, I was stressed with my own self. What made me think about that was the post that we put up on Soul Filling Podcast. It said, what's your relationship like with yourself? So I could be that person for Deborah to say, hey, chill, relax, be positive. The price is going to go down. But then me, I was over here, dog, why am I stressed? I got to do this. I said, I had to revert back to our post. I was like, ooh, what's my relationship with myself? If I was myself's best friend, what would I say? I would say, Tiff, what's the problem? Okay, can you fix it? Okay, do that. All right. Everything worked out, huh? Okay, cool. Let's move it. Let's keep it pushing. So I think another way to stay joyful is to be your own best friend. Treat yourself how you would treat your best friend. Like, calm yourself down. Yeah, girl, you are valuable. Of course, you're going to get a scholarship to law school. Of course, what your business, of course your business is going to work out. Of course your course is going to sell amazingly. You're amazing. You bring so much value. But when it comes to yourself, you're like, you're like, what am I going to do? Mayday. So exactly. But yeah.
Girl.
Ooh, okay.
No, you go.
On that note, I just wanted to say, okay, so by the time everybody listens to this, it'll be Tuesday. Monday is MLK Day. So to pay homage to him, he talked about the three major evils. And I saw a post that said, while we wiping everything down with COVID, you need to wipe down all that hatred, that racism. And it made me think about Martin Luther King's three evils. So on the note of positivity, we should just, the three evils were racism, poverty, and war. So, I just wanted to say, with the positivity note, we need to reflect within ourselves and look at how we are being, judgmental of other races, how we are having that poverty and lack mindset, and then waging the war within ourselves and within our minds. So I just wanted to leave everybody with that note.
Wait, can you say the three again?
It's racism, poverty, and war.
That's really good.
Wow, girl, that's good. That is so good, because it kind of ties into what Tiffany was just saying, how we could be everybody else's best friend, and we could cheer them on when we can it's so easy to help people on the outside, because I do that too. I be like, babe, don't be overreacting. Like, if you had a bad day, it's so easy to just like try to pat them along and be like, everything's gonna get better. But then, like Tiff said, when it's you that's going through it, when it's me, that here's that third E, the three evils, that war is like, we going through these internal wars, making problems bigger than they are, bigger than ourselves, bigger than, and when you really, because I found myself in this state of flux. I was just in a bad mood. I don't know. It was just like, I just felt like life was not the way I wanted it to be. I feel like I was behind on some stuff. I felt like I needed to be doing a gajillion and one things that wasn't done. And it was just cause I felt like I needed to be here, and I felt like my bank account needed to be there. And I felt like I should have started. I was just going through a moment, y'all. And so I was just like, I was just going through this war, and then Jarvis just came and he told me the same thing. And we always do this thing. So like, I'll go give him advice, or he'll give me advice, and then I'll backdoor and give him the same advice. And so we call it, so you gonna use my stuff against me? That's what we call it. And so he goes, hey, everything is gonna be okay. And he wasn't doing it like trying to be a jerk or anything. He was literally trying to console me. And it happened to be the exact word that I was telling him. And I would go, let me soak in peace right now, or like, why are you trying to use my stuff against me? That's our whole little insider. But no, it was real, because I was like, why can't we just see, why is it so easy for us to console people instead of consoling ourselves, being our own best friend? And so we really, really have to work to strengthen that relationship with ourselves. And I was talking to one of my coworkers, and no, this actually wasn't my coworker. This was a friend of mine. And he was telling me that I think when we get to a certain age, it gets easier to see things in third person, to step outside of ourselves, because now we're the age that our parents were when they had us. And so instead of looking at things and putting so much pressure, because and this is one of the things that racism, racism is basically a form of judging people, and sometimes I don't want to call it racism, but we judge, people that are even in our close circles, or even that are close to us, near and dear, whether it's coworkers or whatever, we judge. And so when we are we're softer on ourselves and softer on situations and softer on others, and not judging people for making mistakes, it even makes us have a better relationship with ourselves, because we're able to step outside of the situation itself that seemed like it's causing us so much pain and suffering, and whatever the case is. If we're able to get the ability to step out, understand, like, okay, yes, you made a mistake, yes, you didn't start, but it's always a solution. It's always something that we can do, or maybe something we don't need to do. Maybe we need to just sit for a moment and relax and see what God needs us to do next. But we can always, if COVID has not taught us anything, one thing it did teach us is when that world just stopped out of nowhere in March. Well, this was my perception. Like, all of the stuff that I was stressing about from school, about finances, like, now they just cranking up print and press and print more money. Or now, now all the work stresses, all those deadlines that we had, they meant nothing. Like, in a matter of a second, it was just the craziest thing. So all the things that we're stressing out, I don't want us to get to the space now that the world is starting to get back to quote unquote normal, that the stress ball just starts to build up again. Like, one thing we've learned, that it ain't that deep, and we don't have to like beat ourselves up for not having or not being, that whatever that thing that we want right now, right then and there. And so, like, just being softer and more compassionate, judging people less. There's a second version of the book, The Highly Effective 7 Habits of the Highly Effective Person. And he was saying, you don't want to judge people when they're not there. And basically what he meant by that is, you don't want to talk about people if they're not present to defend themselves. And so, sorry, Travis got an alarm going off in the middle of our podcast. No, but so yeah, you don't want to judge yourself. And then that poverty, y'all know that's been something that's been super, super passionate. I'm super passionate about, especially coming from a background that was far from wealthy. I didn't think I don't feel like, that moment you didn't know that you was in, I don't want to say poverty, but you didn't know you was in low class until you got old enough to realize what an impoverished situation really was. Because I think my family we were just rich in so many other areas that I didn't know that we didn't have a lot of money, so to speak. And so, just you don't have to be, just because this is what you come from, you don't have to have that become your outcome. So I just wanted to leave that little nugget there on the poverty.
Yeah, I think that's really good, because one of the main things that you said was, because I don't want people to get confused. There was this video I was watching, and it was just talking about how people these days have been getting being too kind to themselves, being, oh, it's okay, it's all right. But I don't think that's not what we're saying. The thing is, be kind to yourself, but also figure out what the problem is. The way to a joyful life for me is when I do realize it's not that deep, here's the problem, what's the solution? When I'm actually figuring out the solution and then acting on it, that makes for a joyful life, because now I'm proud of myself because I acted on it. A lot of the stuff that makes us anxious is because we're worried about things that we have not done yet. And so if we are going to constantly keep doing instead of waiting, I feel like that's going to be more of a joyful, actionable life. And so we're not saying like be easy on yourself. We're saying be kind with yourself, but also take the steps you need to create the life that you want, or the life that God put in you, into your mind. So yeah, figure out what that problem is and act on it.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you clarified that. Like, I'm not, saying by any means, like, just be lazy and let life come to you. No. And I think with that, though, Tiff, you can really figure out what it is that's bothering you if you are have two things. You have something to live for, and then if you're I don't even want to say just passionate, but if you have something that you were truly passionate, because sometimes you may not be passionate in the thing that you need to do, but if you're passionate about something in life, it will drive you. It will be that motivating force. Because I was talking to people and they're like, I want to start, being better with my finances. But for them, it's just not important enough for them right now. They don't have something that they're living for right now. They don't have something that they're truly passionate, something that drives them other than, going to work, getting a paycheck for a job that they don't really like. So if you find yourself in a state like that, 2021 is your year to really hone in to figuring out and asking God, y'all. Like, I literally had to ask God, what is it that I'm living for? What is it that you have designed for me? What is it that's gonna be a purpose that makes me feel passionate? Because now I find that now that I actually have something that I'm passionate about, it makes me work harder in every other area of my life. So I think if people do have something that they're passionate about, there will be more driven and motivated to sit and find solutions.
That's so true. Yeah, Kobe.
Yes, and I was gonna say on that note, something that I'm doing to bring joy in my life is I'm looking back on the previous years and asking myself, okay, what did I do that, made me happy? What did I do that made me enjoy my life? And then I'm, planning to do more of those things, this year and in the future. So I did want to share that tip with everyone. And then also to ask yourselves, what do you want to learn? Tiffany posted something on her post on her Instagram the other day. How do you want to feel today? How do you want to feel this year? Asking yourself that question. And then lastly, asking yourself, what do you want to experience? And then, going back to Tiff, what you said, that action, taking action to invest your time, your energy, your resources into those things, that you want to learn, feel, and experience to improve your quality of life. When you do those things, I find that I feel joyful. You're muted too.
I was really into it too. I was like, that is so good. But yes, that is so good, because I have a toss up right now because of like, I'm having a really money mindset toss up. And I kind of want to talk about that today. Like in a greater scheme as a topic, but I didn't bring it up because I don't have the solution. I didn't have any solutions for it. But my toss up right now is like, between, we live in a very capitalistic society, right? And so with the current job I have, I see the abundance of others every single day. Like, but it's like crazy abundance. It's not like, oh yeah, 6 figures here. It's like, y'all are millionaires. Like, what are y'all doing? And so because I've always been very content with, I don't need much. I don't need a big house. I don't need much to make me happy, right? But I realized for the things I want to do, I need a lot of money. Like it ties back to what Jasmine was saying about how it ties back into your purpose. My purpose is to make sure that Black people are stable in their mind, economically, their families, like that. I just want Black people to thrive and have ownership. Like that is so huge for me. And I want that for myself. And that doesn't mean that even though I do like luxurious things, it doesn't mean that I want like the biggest house or anything. Like I'm super content in my apartment. But so I always have a toss up between, are you only chasing money because you see other people? You know, you see that it's possible. You see other people, what other people are doing. And I had to get grounded. So when you said, Kobe, what do you want your life to feel like? Yeah, I want bank. I don't want to worry about money, but I want my life to feel like I wake up every day doing something I truly love. And like you said, I had to go back to, when do I feel most joyful? I always go back to the time that we went to the We Are Girls conference for the first time in Austin. That was a pure moment of joy. I have joy when I'm doing Soul Filling Podcast, and I have joy when I'm at Black Market Houston with Black folks and I seeing them thrive. And then just joyful, like being in nature and walking, and like things like being with your family and things. And so I'm just trying to make sure that though I know abundance is possible and it is my birthright, I want to make sure that I get that by doing the things that I love and being able to attract that abundance while I'm also doing the things that feel good to my soul. And so yeah, I just want that so bad, because it's so easy to look at what other people are doing and say, oh, I could do that. But is it really good for your soul? And so I have a very big toss up of that. And that's still something I'm just trying to figure out. But what I do know is I want to feel good every single day. And I want to live a dreamy life. And y'all know this because I say that all the time. But yeah, so I'm really glad you brought that up. Woo.
No, that's real. And I think that alone, knowing your identity, your idea of what an abundant life is, will truly, truly make your life all worth the while. Because like you said, we'll be surrounded by people that are doing things a certain type of way. And just because we're in the mix of it, we could get caught up into it and start trying to live our life and deviating from what we truly want. And it's that think about how unfulfilling that would be, as if we just, kind of became this chameleon and just blended in and adopted the way of the people that are around us, and we got to where the quote unquote top is, and it wasn't really what we wanted. And so, but I mean, if that even happens, you can still go back another way. But it's like, why work twice as hard? Like, really find out what is your idea. And I honestly don't think it's wrong either way, whether you want millions or whether you want thousands or whether you want, hundreds, whatever it makes you truly feel at ease and at peace and feel abundant. Because I think that's what we're truly on earth for, is to have a life that's filled with abundance, and whatever that idea of abundance looks like to you. And like, I just think whenever we can truly clearly define what that is for us, the closer we'll be to attaining that thing. And then it'll make traveling along your path on your journey that much more easier when you are, coming into contact with like-minded people that could help potentially propel you forward. So just being able to identify that thing in the midst of the world where there's 1,100 trillions of options to choose from, finding what it is that speak to you. And that's another thing. It could be something that speaks to you today, but then 6 months or a year down the line, you figure a new way of life that would probably be a lot easier. It's like, or, I've been working hard all this time and I could have worked a little bit smarter this way. So you just never know. And I say, well, I don't want to say you never know, but you never know until you really soul search and find out what it is that you want. And you might have to revisit your soul.
I love that. You have to. I feel like is you have to get grounded every single day. You have to. And I do that by going on daily walks. And I'm really intentional about getting back grounded, because it's easy to get caught up in just our thoughts. But a few things that help me out is, of course, going walking and being in nature, and even my house plants too, guys. Like, it purifies the air. Like, these little things that God has given us in this world have really make it easier to get grounded. Like, it's proven scientifically that nature makes you happier, and it boosts your mood. And so using those things to get back grounded. Another thing is that I really recently started doing is listening to really soul mantra music. So there's this group called The Beautiful Chorus, and they make like mantra music. And one of the songs is called I Am Everything. And when I say one day when I was really stressed out, this is when I had like a million jobs, I ain't gonna lie. I was so stressed out, and that song came on, and I didn't realize it was like a mantra. And it says, I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. And it says it over and over and over again. And I just was in the shower and I just broke down crying, because I realized in that moment, like, no, like, even though all this chaos is going around, I alone, I am everything I want to be, and I have everything I need. And really speaking life into that. And so they have a bunch of different music on that as well. And then recently I came across this guy named Lontrell, and he also makes this type of music, and it's like very meditative, very affirmational. And one of the songs that I listen to is called Gratitude, and that brings me so much joy. It's just he just talks about what he's grateful for in the morning. It just brings me back to happiness. Like, oh, look, I have so much to be grateful for. Like, and then he also has all these different, it's just so beautiful. So I really encourage that, to reprogram your mind, because a lot of the things that they say in this music is very repetitive. So no, you're not saying it one time. You're saying it over and over again to train your mind. No, Tiff, everything is okay. You have everything you want. What are you grateful for? I'm grateful for life. Then you just start to think about different. Then you start taking your mind off of the negativity and everything that's going wrong, and it shifts it to really, when you really look at your life, everything that's going right. Is your family healthy? Like, your friends, you have great friends. You have like the limbs, the activity of your limbs. You could talk, like, you have money, like, so all this stuff. We always, it's easy to focus on the things that we don't have, but when you shift that focus to focus on all the miracles that you do have, it's almost impossible to, it is impossible to even be in a less, in a non-happy mood. So I really want to say that it's just like music, the frequency that's coming out of your speakers and your headphones, it does have a really effect on your life. So that's one of my tips, is be in nature and listen to meditative music, mantras, affirmations, to reprogram your mind for joy.
I'm so glad you said that, especially the whole nature, as we talked about this in many podcasts before, that sun releases serotonin, which is released dopamine, the happy hormone in our body. So there's just something about being in nature, like nature and listening to some meditative music, girl, ain't nothing, or even just listening to the sounds of nature, being present in nature. I love it all. I love it all. But one thing I did want to add that brings joy to my life is when I am bringing value to others. And I know that at one point in my life, I think we go through these phases where I'm trying to get me together. And then it's like, once I get me together, once I got a good understanding, now I'm like, oh, I want to tell the world. I want everybody to know this. This is so easy. It wasn't that hard. You can have a good life too. And so I just, especially the thing for me was the passion with my financial journey, because, growing up, I was taught, credit was bad. Don't you ever use credit. Credit cards messes up your credit, but it was not necessarily the credit card that messes up the credit. It's the human that's using the credit card is messing up their credit. So it's just knowing how the information as to how to use things. And so I'll feel so compelled once I learn, I just want to share. And even things like investing. I know I don't have the end all be all, but I just feel like there's so many simple things that we just wasn't exposed to. And when I just want to share the value and bringing value to others and helping people get further and progressive, it just makes me so happy when I hear, or whether it's, if it's a relationship problem and I can bring some value on a tip or trick based off personal experiences. It just makes me so happy to see people doing well in anything that they're doing. And I just want to be a part of, uplifting. That's why I think I love Soul Feeling so much, is because we really be out here thinking like, how can we bring value? Like after this episode, what are y'all going to go and take out in the world? And like Tiff has been harping on, and apply the action to. That action piece is like, you can listen to us and listen to anybody that's trying to bring you value. It's like the saying goes, you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. So when that value is shared, just taking heed to that value, from whether you're getting it from us or you're getting it from a book or a class or your parents or anyone, like that value. I think that's what we're all here for, is to, what is the saying go, reach one, teach one, something like that. Like when you learn it, teach it, and spread the knowledge and bring that value to others. And I think you would really have a joyful life, because you could change someone's life and now they're like, dang, if it wasn't for you, I would have never, ever started thinking this way. Girl, if you would have never shared Soul Feeling podcast with me, I would have still been thinking my life was meaningless or whatever. It don't even necessarily just have to be Soul Feeling podcast, but if y'all want to. No, but seriously though, it's just like when we bring value, I think that's truly what we're meant to do, or what we're sent here to do, is to bring value to others. Especially no, go for it. No, and then I'm even thinking about like the Black community, that like bringing value to y'all is one of my major missions in life, because just for so long knowledge have been deprived from us, or our parents didn't know. So I just really want to share with us, because I feel like, I know in my personal bubble we thriving forward, but on a vast scale, I just feel like we really, really need a lot of these valuable tips to change the trajectory of our future generations to come.
So true. And I think what really sticks out to me when you say that is something you said in a previous podcast about like teaching along the way. Because I know I have hang-ups about the value I bring, and though it's like, yeah, I know my value, but sometimes, like I've said in the past, like I've undervalued myself. And I think that could correspond into how you produce in the world, because you don't think that you have everything all together. Like, oh, I don't know, I don't know everything about health. Like, I don't know everything about plants. Like, I don't know, all these different things. But that is a limiting mindset for you to stop teaching. You could teach while you're learning along the way. And so I think that we actually should, because that way people can see the mistakes that you make and see your progress. And so, but I know that it's been one stifling thing for me in particular, is because I'm like, I don't know enough to teach you. I'm not an expert on this. I don't know how many calories you're supposed to consume, but I'm going to keep posting these smoothie bowls because I know this is better than eating a honey bun. And so it's just like, don't devalue yourself just because you don't feel like you know everything. If you're learning along the way and you feel moved to share something that you learned, share it, because it could help someone.
Girl, and you learn so much faster when you teach. I'm not sure if y'all ever heard that before, but there's a true study that shows, it's proven, when you teach something, you learn it. I can't remember how many times faster, but it's like amplified to the speed whether you were just trying to read and soak it up. Because when you're teaching, it puts three things into place. It puts the action, you have to do the research, and you have to communicate. You have to, and when people are asking you questions about what it is, it makes you, okay, now you got to go research that question if you don't know it. It makes you think about all the things someone that's trying to learn it. Like, I don't know how to express it, but it's like you learn so much more when you teach. I can tell you, becoming a biology teacher, I learned way more about biology being a teacher than I did all 4 years I spent in school majoring in biology. And so I'm just like, wow. And I haven't even been a teacher that long. I'm just like, when you teach, you learn so much more. So don't be afraid. And I know the world would tell you you're not qualified and you don't know it all. And I get shut down. Like I recently just posted, I'm in the process of working on an investment course, y'all. So if y'all interested, but I tell people I'm no licensed CPA. I'm not I don't claim to be an investor guru. I'm speaking from personal experience, what I actually applied, what I do currently. This is my practices. I bought courses in the past. I've invested in courses and they've taught me. So I'm just spreading the knowledge, what I've learned through my personal experience and what has worked, what it's proven to work. And I'm putting that all together in a course. And you can feel free if based on my results and who I am as a person, if you think that is going to work, buy in. If you don't, then keep it moving. You don't have to. And so I had a couple trolls. What you're saying, I'm like, I'm not claiming to be an investment guru. This is just speaking from personal experience. And the people I personally helped in my immediate family and immediate circle, like change and I've seen them help them get capital gains and gains on their dividends and their investments. And it's worked on a consistent basis. So, hey, that's good enough for me. And so I think we shut ourselves down because the outside world is going to say we're not qualified compared to this guru or to that person that's been doing it. But I just want us to know, sometimes people don't want to go to the top guru. They want to go to you because they trust you and because they know you and they can just connect and have a conversation. They may not be able to pick up the phone and call Deepak Chopra, but they might want to learn meditation from you because they seen you've been doing it on a consistent basis and it's working for your life and you've been manifesting it. So like, don't feel like you got to be this big Hollywood name for people to want to invest in you and learn from you or even take heed to what you're doing.
So true. So true. Because you just gotta, it's whoever your ideal customer is. And literally, that's like marketing terms in sales terms, but really it's just like, who is in alignment with you and what you have to offer. Okay. It's just like, I go to Jasmine for investment advice all the time. So yes, that's my source. While I also do research on YouTube, I know Jasmine personally. I trust her, and so that's why I would go to her. And so, people, like you said, you may not feel like you're qualified enough, but what do the pastors say all the time? Pastors say all the time, God calls the unqualified. So you don't need to be. Anyways, qualified. That's like whatever your definition of that is, because you are qualified. So, but we all are, but you have to believe it and you have to believe that you bring value too. But I do agree with you, Jasmine. Feeling like you are valuable and being valuable to other people and being of value to other people does make life feel better. All right, guys, that's all I personally have at this moment. I just hope that and pray that we all deserve a very, very joyful life. Make sure you don't sweat the small stuff. Focus on what you do have and do not limit yourself. And don't limit yourself with your limiting belief. You can do everything that is in your mind. And knowing that makes for a joyful life.
Yes. All right, y'all. What time is it? It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. Y'all, if this is your first time tuning in on the Soul Feeling podcast, we always always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is any statement that you are using to transform your life. Either you transforming your life for the good, or you transforming your life.
Wait. Is she frozen on your end? Or am I frozen?
No, she froze on me as well.
Who's going to say the affirmation? Jasmine! Oh my gosh. Should I say her lines? I'm scared. Jess. All right, soulmates. While we're getting Jasmine Charles back on, make sure you're thinking about your affirmation and what you want to speak into the world. Okay, there she goes.
Oh, my bad, y'all. I don't know what happened.
You're flipped.
I don't know why. Hold on. Am I still flipped?
No, you're good.
Okay, that was weird. What part
you're on the good and the bad part? Whether it's for the good.
Either you transform your life, but it's not so good. Okay, no, but y'all, all right. I just feel like I need to start over.
Good.
Okay. What time is it, y'all? It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. Y'all, if this is your first time tuning in on the Soul Filling podcast, we always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is any statement that you are using to transform your life. Either you're transforming your life for the good, or you transform your life for the not so good. Even in the Bible, it states, let the weak say I am strong. So key word here, you got to say it. You have to say I am strong. So on them days you're feeling sick and tired, down and out, not like your best self, still speak uplifting, positive, high vibrational words and sentences over your life. I'm affirming that there are millions, billions, trillions, generations to come tuned in, listening to this podcast. And it's 3 of us, and we're going to go ahead and end this thing off with our positive affirmation. So who wants to go first?
I'll go. Mine is, I am filled with joy.
I have a joyful life.
I am choosing joy each and every day.
Yes. I love it. All right, guys, make sure that you write down your affirmations below and let us know what you are affirming in your life. And make sure whatever you're listening to us on, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, it's very important that you guys leave a 5-star review and write something soulful and sweet so we could continue going up and up and up on the rankings. And feel free to join us on Instagram as well. We over there popping. Y'all didn't want to tell y'all in 2020 that we was about to come out here popping, but now we out here popping. So I can say that we out here popping. So go ahead and follow us on Instagram.
Hey, follow us.
Yes. SOULFILLING podcast. You can follow us there to get your daily dose of inspiration. And other than that, guys, just go out there, have an amazing, brilliant, joyful day, joyful week, joyful year. We love you so much. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, guys, until next time, soulmates. We love y'all.